Hey everybody, it's Jess. I have been trying to do a what sold video for a while now, and I kept running into this tech problem that wouldn't record my audio. Anyway, I fixed it, but it took me a long time, and I kept coming back to it and not figuring it out or trying to fix it when I was too tired. But anyway, here we are. It's done. I finally have a what sold video. I was going to do one for February, but we're now almost at the end of March, so I've decided to do one for March. So I'm going to show you some of the really cool things that have sold in our store this month, some of our good sales, some of our not good sales, and obviously the good stories, because there's always some of those, and kind of intersperse that with some talk about tariffs and reselling and what's going on. So let me share my screen and we'll get right to it. Okay, so here's the interesting thing about March. March was actually up, I think, 20% over February, and March isn't even over yet. We're here, I'm recording this on March 28th. Now, at the beginning of the month, our year to date sales compared to last year were down a lot. I can't remember what it was. I think it was 26% down over the year before. And I was like, it has to do with the tariffs. It must have to do with the economic situation. But if you've been listening to the podcast, then I probably have mentioned that right around the beginning of February, we picked up a huge comic book collection, and it's one of the best collections we've ever bought. We paid for it, it was $10,000. But we started working it right away. And the thing is, it just proves what I always say about reselling is that even in tough economic times, even if there's a recession, no matter what is going on in the world, if you have hot collectibles, people are going to buy them. So I'm actually going to share here. I'll share this one first. Um, this was this is one of the sales that we've gotten from this comic book collection. It's about 12,000 comic books, so it's taken us quite a long time. We've been working through it for over a month and a half, and I don't know how many are left. They're kind of hiding away in a place where I don't want to go because it's a mess. But Johan says we're doing well, and the pile's getting smaller. I know about 5,000 of the comic books were pretty much worthless. That's what typically happens when you buy a collection, a big collection. It's usually like 20% good and 80% bad. In this case, it was more like 40 or 50% good, half and half. So we're pretty happy about that. This was an incredible collection. It's one of those ones where, you're looking through, you're trying to find the key books and they're there and you're never disappointed. And you're going through the stack and you're like, Amazing Spider-Man 300, it's got to be here. And it is. Anyway, it's been really fun working through this collection, and it has been selling like crazy. So we got that going in February. It took a little bit for the sales to start gaining momentum, but now we've posted hundreds of listings from that collection, and it really is flying. And so what we do usually is we start off with like some of the best single books because they're really quick and easy to photograph, and we start putting those up in the store to start to bring some attention to the store. And then as we work through the collections, we start putting together lots. So this was a big lot of What If, another popular series. It has a couple of keys, including that What If, I think it's 10, What If Jane Foster had found the hammer of Thor, which is a key book. And we put that in the lot and sold 1 through 47. This sold same day for $575. Fantastic sale. We're just really thrilled with that. And the sales like this have been just driving our sales up. So going back to what I was just saying about how at the beginning of March, we were quite down year over year. Now we're at the end of March. We're still down year over year, but instead of 26%, it's 9%. And when I look at March compared to February, it's up it's up 20% over February. So we really have improved sales a lot despite the crazy economic uncertainty and the tariffs and all the Trump bullshit and everything that's going on in the world. Here it is. Hot collectibles are still hot collectibles and they're still going to sell. I'll give you another example, which is this Wolverine limited series. It's a 4-issue limited series. It's very popular. It's actually pretty hard to find, although we have sold it a few times. And this one was in pretty good condition, around very fine. So, it's usually hard to find this set in high grade. And this only took a few days to sell at $249.99. So this has been going really well. We're getting sales like this every day now. And we had our helper come in for 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks in March here, and they have been just pounding through this collection with huge lots. And just processing thousands of comic books, and it is really fueling sales in our store right now. So we're really happy about that. I'll show you another example. This was yeah, a $400 order. Earnings were $367, and I think it was just like 5 or 6 comic books, all X-Men. X-Men is a very popular series, and this person's clearly trying to fill in their run with some keys and had some money. So that was a good sale for us. Just 6 comic books for $400. But of course, sales beget more sales, and when your store starts getting a lot of attention and the algorithm picks things up, all kinds of other things become visible. So beyond comic books, we're selling all kinds of other items actually pretty well. When I look at the breakdown of our sales by orders, about one third, like 25% to 35% of our orders right now are comic books, which means the majority are still not. We have 850 comic book listings thereabouts and 5,800 listings in the store. So it's a relatively small percentage of our overall store. So even though the comic books are really driving our sales and keeping our revenue up, we're still mostly not selling comic books. And I love this sale, the Braun Multi-Practic Food Processor. I think this is from like the 1980s, this thing. We've had it 2 or 3 times over the years of reselling. And this one was great because it was brand new in the box. We got this out of a junk truck at the beginning of January, and it had never been used. So there it was on its way to the garbage. We rescued it out. I just pulled everything out of the box to make sure it was complete, turned the motor on, and there you go, done. So 140 is what these consistently sell for. The buyer is really happy, and I actually really love the feedback that we got from this. They said that they're the guy said his wife bought one brand new 40 years ago and it just died. So he went to find her another brand new one and was able to replace it. And I thought that was pretty cool. So great feedback from that buyer. We have had a couple of negatives this month, a couple negative feedbacks. You see our feedback there has dropped to 99.2%. I don't really care because the comic books are there and they're selling so well. And our comic book buyers are just always happy. They're absolutely my favorite group of buyers. We got a couple of negatives. One was on a CD. That I think it might have had the wrong disc in it, or we may have made an error. I'm not really sure, but the buyer would not. He was sending me all these messages in special characters, and I couldn't translate them. So I was like, "Dude, I can't help you, and I don't know what you're telling me." And and he left a negative in English, which was really annoying. So it meant the entire time he could speak English but didn't want to. So that was that. And then another one was a brooch that I had tested the clasp and I knew that it worked and there was nothing wrong with it. And she's like, my fingers can't open the clasp. And I'm like, well, maybe you can get somebody to help you. And she's like, fine, and closed the return and left a negative. And I'm like, well, all right, can't win them all. But it's clearly not affecting our sales volume. So I don't really worry about things like that. Let's look at another sale. This one also came from a garbage pick. It right at the end of December, yeah, and this is cool. I think the person was a jewelry maker, and they had all kinds of neat little tools, jewelry tools, and we just put all these balance scale pieces and weights and stuff together in one lot. And I just really like stuff like this because independently, these items aren't worth that much. They're, 1 or 2 pieces here probably worth 15 bucks. Like it's just not that special. But when you put it all together, you have this neat kind of historical thing that belonged to one person. I took an offer of $68 on this. I was really happy with that sale. I didn't really know what I had here, and it doesn't matter because we're not paying a lot for this type of inventory. So even if I didn't max out, that's fine. $68. We got a happy buyer, and I just love rescuing stuff like this from the trash. Speaking of trash, this weekend and next weekend is the Delta Spring Cleanup, which is, if you're not from BC, you won't know these towns, but there's like 3 towns, Delta, Ladner, and Tawasin, that are all really close to each other. And every year they do a spring cleanup where anybody can put anything up to a pickup truck load out on the curb, and the city will come and get it on the designated garbage day. But what that means is that people put stuff out all weekend and we just go pick it. And so this weekend we are replacing all of this stuff that we got from junk trucks with stuff that we got off the curb in Delta and Swasin. So it's going to be a really fun weekend for picking. We've already gone once and picked up a bunch of bicycles, some designer purses, and some really cool things. Tawasin especially has some really wealthy neighborhoods, so people put out all kinds of stuff. We've never found gold in the Delta Spring cleanup though, so that's what we're hoping for this year. Obviously, big dreams. What else can I tell you about? Okay, this is an interesting piece. I don't know a whole lot about photography. This is a bellows focusing attachment, so it's supposed to have those like accordion things like in the middle between those two pieces. And as you can clearly see from the pictures, it doesn't have them. But I sold this thing 3 times to 3 different buyers, and every time I'm like, you do know the bellows are not there. It says bellows focusing attachment, and I'm pretty sure that I updated the description. Yes, as you can see, the actual bellows are not there. It's the adapter and attachment only. I sold this thing 3 times to 3 different buyers who did not read that. And I don't understand what wasn't clear about this ad. It's not in the photos. The description specifically says that it's not there. I don't know. Anyway, 4th time was the charm. This buyer, I think they were in England. They picked it up. I wrote them. I'm like, hey, do you know that there's no actual bellows? And they're like, yes, I understand. I'm going to make my own. And I thought, wow, that's pretty ambitious, but cool. So they were happy with it. I was happy with it. And I was honestly just about to take this listing down because it was, how you get those items that are cursed. And I felt like this one was heading down that path. But anyway, we managed to get out of that and find a happy buyer. So that's pretty cool. I only got $15 for this watch, but I just want to share a story about it because it's just it's a used older triathlon watch that we actually picked this up at a thrift store in Lake Tahoe. And I can't even believe that I remember that, but we never go thrifting. It's so rare for us to go thrifting, but we happened to go to this one shop and I think I picked it up for like 50 cents. But I don't like selling $15, $20 items. Nevertheless, since I bought it, I processed it, I listed it. But the cool thing about this sale, I actually never saw the package, but I guess Johan had grabbed like we always rescue like jewelry boxes and things that we can ship stuff in. And I guess this one was an old Hudson's Bay jewelry box that he just had grabbed off the shelf and threw this watch in it, put that in an envelope, and then we shipped it on. And the buyer was so thrilled when they got it that they wrote me a message and they're like, I'm a Canadian and I live in San Francisco Bay. And he's like, I can't believe you shipped this to me in a Hudson's Bay box. I'm so excited. And I was like, that's really cool feedback. And it was completely by accident. But of course, that was just a couple of days before the announcement that all but 6 Hudson's Bay stores in Canada were going to be closing, which of course immediately pushed up demand for anything Bay related. And I did not catch this one. I have all of my Barbie stuff and dolls on 50% off right now because we got that huge Barbie score. It's been 2 years since we picked up that Barbie score for $12,000. And we have made our money many times over on the resale, and there's still some cool items left, but it's getting like smaller and smaller. So I have everything on half off. And then that announcement came out and I didn't catch this item. I would have removed it from the sale, but I didn't get a chance. Nevertheless, there it is. The Hudson's Bay Barbie selling for just $35. I bet if you looked up sold comps on this right now, with the exception of this one over the past week, the prices would be would be way up. But you know what? It's okay. I hope that the buyer's happy and it's all good. It's just, when things like that happen or like when a celebrity dies or whatever, like if you're not on it within a day or even sometimes a few hours, anything that you have that's related to that is going to just fly off the shelves. Like I remember when Queen Elizabeth died, like everything that we had royals sold while we were sleeping that like after that day. And it just is what it is. I mean, happy about the sale. Could I have got a better price because the market value changed? Yeah. But did I lose money? No. This was easily like this Barbie score was easily like a 7x on our money. So no problem. And I'll just share one more. This one I think we got this at an estate sale. Not too many estate sales to go to these days, and we're not traveling across the US border, so we're not going to be getting any of those sales this year. But This one was down in a wealthy area south of town, and I don't know what we paid for it. I know we paid $200 for like a carload of stuff that day, so this was probably like around $5. Didn't take long to sell at 79.99, so pretty happy with that sale. So, all in all, I'm actually pretty amazed at how well March has gone. I shouldn't be surprised because the comic books are what they are and there's huge demand for them. We have a lot of rare titles, a lot of really hard to find stuff. So, the buyers are kind of emptying their wallets, filling in the runs with key books that are otherwise hard to find and getting a whole bunch of those from the same seller. So, that's really good for them. It really has pumped up our March sales. And since we're like about a week behind in our listings. So like from photography day to it actually getting listed usually can take about a week. Um, so that means we still have hundreds of listings going up this week and next week before we kind of take our foot off the gas a little bit because we've been working really hard the last few weeks and I think we just need to kind of take a couple of days off and relax, especially after this Delta spring cleanup is over. We're going to be a bit tired, so we're going to need some time off. So maybe the sales will slow down then. Maybe some crazy shit will happen in the world. Not maybe. I think that's pretty much a certainty at this point. Um, and and we'll just have to keep on keeping on and take whatever comes our way. But pretty happy right now. How are your sales? I would love to know in the comments. What are you picking up? Are you encouraged by this? Just know if you can find good sought out rare inventory, it is still going to sell no matter how crazy things get. I hope that that helps you and maybe gives you a little bit of inspiration to keep going. There's no reason to stop what you're doing. Be boring. Just keep doing your business the best you can. And so are we. Bye. Want more videos like this? Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave a comment below to tell me what you want to see more of.